The art of not caring is a fundamental concept in the practice of Stoicism. When you master the art of not caring, it allows you to have complete control over yourself. Others can no longer influence you or take control over you. In today's video, we will discuss 15 Stoic lessons to help you master the art of not caring. Before we begin, I'd like to thank you for watching and don't forget to like the video. If you're watching and haven't subscribed yet, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell for more Stoic content that can change your life. Number 1. Focus on what you can control. As Epictetus said, the primary task in life is simply to identify and separate matters so that I can tell myself which are external and not under my control, and which have to do with the choices that I control. When something happens that disturbs or frustrates you, pause before reacting. Take a few deep breaths and then carefully consider which aspects of the situation you have the power to influence and which parts you do not. Direct your energy toward areas within your control, such as your perspective, attitudes, and response. Let go of the desire to control or change anything outside of yourself, other people, external events, the past, the future. This will only make you unnecessarily upset. Serenely accept the limits of your agency. Focusing only on what is within your power creates freedom, freeing you from the endless disappointments caused by the desire to control things that, in the end, are not under your control. You gain mental space for purposeful action. Of course, work to improve challenging situations when reasonable, but without attachment to specific outcomes that depend on external factors. Your fulfillment comes from your values and choices, not from controlling what is not yours to control. Number 2. Accept that life is imperfect. It is human nature to desire order and predictability. We want things to make sense and follow according to plan, but setbacks inevitably arise, people make mistakes, and suffering occurs. Things will never be perfect. When you expect or demand perfection from life, yourself, or others, you set yourself up for constant frustration and disappointment. Demanding that things be different from what they are leads to anxiety, anger, and resentment when reality refuses to comply. Instead, acknowledge imperfections and channel your energy into working with life as it is, not as you wish it to be. Respond skillfully to difficulties as they arise, without judgment. Show compassion for others' flaws, as we all have them, and have self-compassion for your failures. Of course, continue to improve yourself every day, but do it motivated by growth, not by self-flagellation for mistakes or setbacks. Progress happens slowly, with ups and downs. Make peace with the perpetual human condition of falling short of ideals. Recognize that the desire for perfect order often arises from the need for control and certainty. Have faith that you have the internal resources to navigate life's twists and turns, even when they are painful or frightening. Let go of the need for it to be otherwise and embrace the fundamental messiness and unpredictability of life, which is tremendously liberating. You stop fighting against the basic nature of reality and gain perspective to respond wisely to events as they unfold. Flow with the ups and downs of life with equanimity, acceptance, and wisdom. Number 3. Practice mindfulness. It's easy to get lost in regrets about the past or anxiety about the future, but this wastes the only moment that truly exists, the present. When you notice your mind wandering to relive old memories or imagine future scenarios, gently bring your attention back to the current experience. Engage your senses and observe the sights, sounds, and sensations happening right now. Regular mindfulness meditation helps strengthen your concentration muscles and your ability to return to the present. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and focus on the inhalation and exhalation of your breath. When thoughts arise, observe them without judgment and guide your attention back to your breath. Staying rooted in the ever-changing present prevents you from getting lost in mental narratives about the static past or imaginary future. Each moment becomes vivid and precious when you fully inhabit it. Continue redirecting your focus to the present throughout your day. Appreciate positive details whenever you can: a hot cup of coffee, laughter with a friend, the feel of the wind. Presence fills life with a richness that is lost when we are focused elsewhere. While planning for the future has its place, staying mindful of the present builds resilience. You trust that by fully engaging with each experience as it unfolds, you can handle whatever comes, whether good or bad. Number 4. Perspective. When something upsetting happens, it's easy to be carried away by subjective emotional reactions. However, the Stoics advise taking a step back to see things more objectively before reacting. When you feel your emotions intensifying, pause and resist the urge to vent or act while in a reactive state. Instead, take a deep breath and create mental space. Then, rationally look at the situation from the perspective of an external observer. Ask yourself questions like, is my response proportional to what happened? How might this look years from now, looking back? What is the wisest perspective to adopt? This mental exercise loosens emotions' grip on your thinking by creating space between the subjective reaction and the objective event. With distance, you gain clarity to choose measured next steps instead of reacting impulsively. Of course, honor your emotions, but don't let them dictate your response. As Marcus Aurelius stated, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. Remember that you always have a choice in how you perceive situations. Even painful events can be seen as opportunities for learning and growth if you seek the positive side. Our experience deeply depends on the chosen perspective. Number 5. Let go of a sense of entitlement. It's easy to feel that you deserve a specific outcome just because you want it or strongly expect it, but fate unfolds as it will, not as we demand. Catch yourself when you notice frustrated reactions stemming from unmet expectations. Remember that nothing in life is guaranteed, and events do not always conform to hopes and desires. Free yourself from the judgment that things should be happening differently. Stop needing reality to accommodate your inflexible preferences. Accept that other people in life owe you nothing, and you are not entitled to receive what you desire. Instead of struggling against a situation, reflect on what is within your reach. You always control your response, values, and how you use the tools available at the moment. Focus on that, as Epicurus said, make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens. Give your best with equanimity and then let go of insisting that life meets specific demands. Lowering expectations of entitlement leads to greater serenity and wisdom to constructively deal with events as they unfold. Your happiness becomes dependent only on your character and choices. Expect less, and life will naturally deliver more. Number 6. Loving changes. Life does not stay the same. Impermanence and change are intertwined in existence itself. Trying to rigidly control or hold on to things as they are inevitably fails and leads to suffering. Reflect deeply on the reality that aging, loss, and death await us all. Relationships evolve, circumstances change, and the wheel of life keeps turning. Accepting change allows you to flow with it skillfully. When you realize you're resisting change or clinging to how things used to be, pause and remember that resisting the fundamental nature of life only brings anxiety and disappointment. Free yourself from the futile attempt at control, and after consciously accepting change, move to embrace it boldly. Each transition holds hidden opportunities within challenges. Have faith that closing one door opens another you could not have imagined. Grow through times of upheaval. Of course, honor what has passed and mourn losses consciously, but don't get stuck lamenting a faded past. Shift focus to the possibilities ahead, embracing life's dynamic nature. You remain flexible and capable of responding wisely as situations evolve. As Seneca stated, every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. Trust in the cycles of life and accept the endings that enable valuable new beginnings. Number 7. Judge with discernment. It's easy to criticize the mistakes and weaknesses of others, but harsh judgment often says more about ourselves than about them. Before negatively judging someone, pause and consider if it stems from your insecurity, arrogance, or pettiness. Does a benign trait deserve your condemnation? Is it more a matter of personal preference? Examine your motivations and reflect if positive intentions might be underlying their offensive action. Could cultural differences be causing misunderstandings? Remember that wounded people often hurt others unintentionally. Refrain from judgment until you have walked a mile in the person's shoes. Focus criticism only on matters that involve injustice, cruelty, or harm, and even then, seek to understand why someone would act that way. Judgment often blocks opportunities for teaching and reconciliation. As the Stoic Marcus Aurelius said, when you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. They are like this because they can't tell good from evil. Maintain tolerance, and, of course, offer compassionate feedback when it can help others improve, but avoid judging minor imperfections or matters of subjective opinion. Cultivate growth in the people around you, emphasizing their potential over their flaws. Number 8. Forgive. When someone makes a mistake or harms you, holding on to resentment ultimately harms you more in the long run than it does them. Of course, seek justice if you have genuinely been wronged, but be cautious in desiring revenge. As Nelson Mandela said, resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemies. Forgiveness doesn't mean condoning inappropriate behavior or forcing reconciliation. You can forgive internally, letting go of bitterness and wishing the best for those who have hurt you, even from a distance. This frees you from the pain of the past. Consider that wounded people often hurt others due to unresolved traumas and shortcomings. Have compassion while protecting yourself as needed. To release anger, go beyond it to find the unmet need that is causing it, such as security, respect, or belonging. How can you nurture this need in healthy ways, instead of holding on to anger? Release and turn inward. As Marcus Aurelius said, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Forgiveness is an act of self-love that breaks cycles of revenge. Have the courage and patience to let it heal your wounds. The present and future open up when we forgive the past. Number 9. Laugh often. Being able to laugh at the absurdities, ironies, and frustrations you encounter generates the perspective and necessary joy to weather storms in difficult times. Seek humor and lightness in the small joys of life, funny animal videos, amusing observations, jokes with friends. Even when facing dark circumstances, a moment of laughter relieves tension and renews the spirit. Don't lose the willingness to be light and not take yourself too seriously. Being playful and fun involves creativity and imagination to find a lighter side of any difficulty. Shared laughter and a sense of humor strengthen social bonds and resilience. Our shared humanity is reaffirmed when we can laugh at common foibles and jokes that cut across differences. As Seneca said, if you wish to be loved, love. Humor turns down the volume on adversity. Problems become more manageable when they are objects of amusement rather than approached with seriousness. Of course, allow the depth of life to touch you fully, including the pain, but balance it with the remedy of laughter. Lightness lifts you from despair and helps you endure the unbearable. Laughter heals. Number 10. Focus inwardly. We have direct control over our growth and habits, but very little control over fundamentally changing other people. Catch yourself when you're frustrated because others won't change to fit your vision of how they should be. This often leads to anger and resentment when the world refuses to bend to your will. Instead, redirect your attention back to yourself. What virtues can you cultivate? How can you lead by positive example? Be the change you want to see rather than demanding it from others. As Marcus Aurelius said, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. We grow by doing the work ourselves, not just wishing for others to improve. Inspire excellence through your actions. Of course, lovingly helps guide close relationships that genuinely want to grow, but most people must find their path and pace. Focusing inwardly on self-development brings serenity and confidence. When you excel at manifesting your higher values, you won't be as concerned with what others do or don't do. Take care of your garden first, the rest will follow. 11. Live simply. Chasing money, symbols of status, and luxuries rarely brings lasting satisfaction. Notice when you're fixated on acquiring luxurious homes, cars, gadgets, or other non-essentials. Ask yourself, what emptiness am I trying to fill? Why do I tie my self-esteem to appearances and things? Strive to live modestly, acquiring ethical and durable goods consciously, meeting needs but avoiding excess. Cultivate pleasures that money can't buy, like time in nature, reading, and loving relationships. Reflect also on the personal cost of value and career ambition and gain over purpose and people. Recognize how consumer culture feeds the ego and distracts from higher goals. Does it truly enrich your spirit? As Seneca said, it is not the man who has too little that is poor, but the one who hankers after more. True wealth lies in developing wisdom and character, not in expanding possessions. Of course, financial security relieves life's stress, but beyond a certain point, more money ceases to increase happiness. Avoid confusing the means of living with the ends of life, which are virtue, service, and realizing your gift fully. Number 12. Be humble. It's easy to inflate our role and impact in situations, but many external factors are simply beyond our control. Catch yourself when you're taking too much credit when things go well. Acknowledge the role of luck, help from others, and variables beyond your influence. Don't become arrogant, assuming that everything was solely your merit. Likewise, don't blame yourself exclusively when problems arise, whether they are external or internal. Avoid falling into shame and self-criticism when events don't go as expected. You don't have total control over outcomes. As the Stoic Seneca stated, everything is opinion, and opinion is not the truth. Everything depends on our senses, and our senses can easily deceive us. Our judgments and perceptions are often distorted by biases. Maintain a modest perspective on your importance in the grand scheme of things. Individuals come and go, but life goes on. Do your part with humility and find peace in living well, not on pedestals. Of course, cultivate empowering self-confidence balanced with detached acceptance when things don't go as planned. Number 13. Silence. There is wisdom in resisting the urge to speak impulsively and in holding your tongue when it would be unwise or cruel to share your thoughts. Notice when you feel compelled to say anything that comes to mind without a filter. Pause first and carefully consider why it's necessary or beneficial to express those reactions or opinions before voicing them. Be mindful of excessive talking as well, even when it's not overtly harmful. As Epictetus advised, nature gave us one tongue and two ears so we could hear twice as much as we speak. Listen more than you speak. Before communicating, ask yourself, is this true? Is it kind? Is it helpful? Does it improve upon silence? If not, breathe and let the urge to speak dissipate without unnecessary indulgence. Of course, speak your truth with care when it's ethical and necessary, but not every passing notion requires public announcement or debate. The cost is often unnecessary discord and wasted energy. With conscious silence, you gather your mental forces and avoid much needless disturbance. Number 14. Love your fate. Instead of constantly resenting the circumstances you find disagreeable, Stoics encourage consciously accepting conditions as they are. When faced with frustrating situations, pause to reflect instead of merely complaining or rebelling against reality. Ask yourself sincerely, how can I engage with this constructively rather than resist what cannot be changed? Confront challenges and limitations as opportunities to practice virtues like courage, wisdom, and justice. For example, financial hardship may inspire voluntary simplicity, illness allows for developing fortitude, and betrayal enhances discernment of allies. As Epicurus advised, do not seek for events to happen as you wish, but wish them to happen as they do, and your life will go smoothly. Align with reality, of course, take sensible actions to improve conditions when possible, but accept what cannot be changed without resentment or self-pity. Maintain equanimity in the face of life's ups and downs. Loving your fate means embracing the full spectrum of experiences with mindfulness and a good spirit. You cease to fight against reality and turn obstacles into opportunities. Practice amor fati. Number 15. Memento mori, remember death often. Reflecting on the inevitability of death provides a useful perspective when we're caught up in the small anxieties and frustrations of daily life. No matter how difficult your current situation may seem, it is temporary. You and everyone else will eventually leave this world behind, along with all earthly troubles. Death awaits us all. Keeping this fact soberly in mind puts struggles into context rather than demoralizing you. Remembering mortality has an uplifting effect by clarifying priorities. Facing death openly makes you realize how precious each passing moment is. Precisely because time is short, life's possibilities shine more brightly. Memento mori also motivates us to fully utilize our gifts and express love without reservation before the opportunity passes. Imagine if today were your last day, how would you like to spend it? Appreciate and savor the remaining time, as Seneca said. Let us prepare our minds as if we'd come to the very end of life. Let us postpone nothing. Let us balance life's books each day. The one who puts the finishing touches on their life each day is never short of time. Of course, balance awareness of death with appreciation for this transient gift of existence, but regularly reflect on impermanence. By facing your mortality, you find the freedom to live fully. If you're listening to this, thank you for staying until the end. If any of these Stoic lessons resonated with you today, feel free to start a Stoic discussion in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like it, and if you want more content like this, subscribe to our channel Stoic Today channel and hit the bell. Thank you for watching.